Start recording. Okay. Good evening, everyone. With immense pleasure, I, Dr. Jigar Sevalia, take this opportunity and welcome President ICEA, Engineer Nilesh Shah, immediate past President ICEA, Engineer Nimish Mehta, uh, Engineer Vimal Shah, expert for our today's webinar, dignitaries, office bearers, and enthusiastic members present in the webinar. On the onset, I express sincere thanks to you all for joining this webinar. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them in the chat box in your Zoom control panel. We will definitely bring them at the time of question answer session at the end of presentation. Please. To start with this today's webinar, I would first of all like to invite Engineer Nilesh Shah to deliver the welcome speech. Nilesh bhai, please.
Thank you very much, Jigar bhai. It is indeed matter of great pleasure for me to connect with all the members of ICA on this occasion. મિત્રો આપણે ફરી પાછી બેટિંગ ચાલુ કરી છે વેબિનારની. As most of you know that during lockdown period we had conducted many webinars along with SVNIT Alumni Association Surat chapter, and perhaps we took a break of around a month or so. But I would certainly like to promise all of you that next month you will have at least 3 or 4 webinars, including this month and the next month. We have all the events in the pipeline, and Honorary Secretary Dilip Bhai Patel will inform you about future webinars of ICEA. Valuation એક એવો વિષય છે કે જેમાં દરેકને રસ પડે, irrespective of whether he is a civil engineer or an architect or a chartered accountant. And as you all know that over last 2 to 3 years, a lot of development has taken in the field of valuation. IBBI registered valuers is a new era, I would say, in the profession of valuation. And not only the practice has changed, but along with that, the principles of valuation and the way people have been doing valuation for bank or for other purposes, that has also significantly changed. From members of ICA only, we have a lot of faculties who are delivering lectures for IBBI, for preparation of IBBI examinations to other prospective students. And Vimal Shah is one of them. Even Kavita Choksi, Murad, and Jigesh Mehta, and all have been very actively involved as faculty delivering lectures for preparation of IBBI and on various other topics of valuation. So therefore ICA has taken this opportunity, and I think that amongst IOB also, IOB Surat branch President Murad has also appreciated this gesture of ICEA, that we have initiated this series of webinar and included a topic of valuation. Valuation of leasehold property is perhaps a very challenging, not as simple as we all think about, and therefore the topic has been chosen in such a way that our today's faculty will throw more light on different aspects of valuation of leasehold property. We today have with us immediate past President Nimish Bhai Mehta. I will first request Nimish Bhai Mehta, who is also chairman of the valuation committee of ICA, to say a few words about this. Nimish Bhai, over to you.
Thank you, Nilesh Bhai. વેલ્યુએશન કમિટી કોન્સ્ટિટ્યુટ કરવાને લગભગ 2 વર્ષ થવાના, પણ અનફોર્ચ્યુનેટલી એક્ટિવ નથી થઈ શકતી, અને વી હેવ ડિસાઇડેડ કે એને કોઈ પણ હિસાબે આપણે એક્ટિવ કરવી, બીકોઝ ડે બાય ડે ધ પ્રોફેશન રધર વોકેશન એક એવા મોડ પર જઈ રહ્યો છે કે જ્યાં ઘણી બધી વસ્તુઓની પ્રિસાઇસનેસ, કરેક્ટનેસ અને ઘણું બધું ઇન્વોલ્વમેન્ટની જરૂરિયાતની હવે જરૂરિયાત ઊભી થઈ છે. આવા તબક્કે એનપીએ જ્યારે વધી ગયા હતા અને એનપીએ વધવાને કારણે જે પરિસ્થિતિઓ થઈ હતી, એ પરિસ્થિતિઓમાંથી બહાર નીકળવા માટે આઈબીબીઆઈ નું ગઠન કરવા માટેનો પ્રયાસ કરવામાં આવ્યો હતો. કદાચ એ પર્પઝ અને સિસ્ટમ અલગ હશે, બધા જ આપણે એની સાથે સહમત થઈ શકીશું, પરંતુ એની જરૂરિયાતો અને રિક્વાયરમેન્ટો એટલી બધી ઊભી થઈ કે જેને કારણે આપણે વેલ્યુએશનને એક રિસ્પેક્ટેબલ પ્રોફેશનમાં ફરીથી લાવવા માટે આપણે ઘણું બધું કરી શકીએ અને એમાં ઘણી બધી ડિફરન્ટ વે ઓફ થિંગ્સ ઇન્વોલ્વ હોય છે, પ્રેક્ટિસ ઇન્વોલ્વ હોય છે. આ પર્ટિક્યુલરલી ધોઝ હુ આર નોટ પ્રેક્ટિસિંગ વેલ્યુએશન તેના માટે છે. તો એના ભાગરૂપે એક સ્પેસિફિક સબ્જેક્ટ leasehold property. I remember many valuers as of now also leasehold property na valuation merely land and building method થી કરી દેતા હોય છે અને એ કદાચ પ્રેક્ટિસ સાચી છે કે ખોટી ચર્ચાનો વિષય હોઈ શકે, કારણ કે એ પ્રોપર્ટીની લેન્ડ અને બિલ્ડિંગ થી ન થઈ શકે એવો દાવો કોઈ ના કરી શકે, પરંતુ એની પ્રેક્ટિસ લીઝહોલ્ડ પ્રોપર્ટીની અલગ રીતના પણ થઈ શકે, ઇન્કમ જનરેટેડ પ્રોપર્ટી તરીકે પણ થઈ શકે અને એના શું પહેલું હોઈ શકે. સુરતમાં લગભગ 15 વેલ્યુઅરોએ મળીને એક નોલેજ અપગ્રેડેશન ગ્રુપ તૈયાર કર્યું છે અને એવરી મંથ આના પર અલગ અલગ સબ્જેક્ટ પર અમે ડિસ્કશન કરીએ છીએ અને એના ભાગરૂપે આ એક સૌથી અગત્યની વર્ટિકલ કહી શકાય વેલ્યુએશનમાં, તે છે લીઝહોલ્ડ પ્રોપર્ટી. લીઝહોલ્ડ ઘણા બધા લેવલના લીઝ થઈ શકે અને ઘણી બધી કન્ડિશનો સાથેના લીઝ થઈ શકે અને એના અનુરૂપ શું શું ધ્યાન રાખી શકાય અને શું શું થઈ શકે એના પર એક આજની આપણી ફેકલ્ટી જે આપણા પોતાના મેમ્બર પણ છે, પરંતુ એ મેમ્બર તરીકે નહીં પરંતુ આઈબીબીઆઈ ના ટ્યુટર તરીકે પાન ઇન્ડિયા લેવલ પર જે પોતાના અનુભવ અને નોલેજને શેર કરે છે તે આજે આપણી સાથે શેર કરવા આવ્યા છે. વિમલભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ ફોર ધેટ. ઓવર ટુ.
હા, thank you very much, Nimeshbhai. Before Dr. Jigar, I hand over the floor to you for further proceedings. I will recognize the presence of Honorable Past President of ICA, very senior member and a very senior valuer of Surat, Sri H.T. Shah Sahib. I also recognize the presence of Past President Jabir Bhai Choksi. I also recognize the presence of immediate past President Nimish Bhai Mehta. I also recognize the presence of special the attendee today, Ramesh Bhai Misri. He has joined us from USA. And I also recognize the presence of Professor Dr. Anand Pargi, who is a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering and Applied Mechanics of SUNIT. So welcome everyone, all of you once again. Over to you, Dr. Jigar.
President Kamalbhai Gandhi.
I also recognize the presence of past President and Rotarian Kamalbhai Gandhi.
Thank you so much, Nilesh Bhai and Nimish Bhai, for extending warm welcome to our members and sharing your kind words and thoughts, your experiences. We are now happy today that we have Engineer Vimal Sir with us, who has accepted our kind invitation and agreed to share his knowledge on the topic valuation of leasehold properties. Engineer Vimal Sir, we earnestly thank you for sharing your valuable time and being resource person for this webinar. I humbly request Engineer Kavita Choksi to introduce Vimal Sir to the audience, please.
Good evening all. Myself Kavita N. Choksi. On behalf of ICEA, I would like to introduce Engineer Vimal Shah, today's eminent speaker. He has earned his BE Civil from Pune University and Master in Environmental Engineering from NIT Surat. He had opted for his post-graduation in Construction Management from NICMAT, as well as he has pursued MSc in Real Estate Valuation. He has a vast experience of, I can say 24 years in the field of construction, and he is faculty for 50 hours mandatory program of IBBI for many RVOs. I would like to add, he had delivered more than 500 lectures on pan-India level, as well as he is in the procedure of publishing a book also of, in the field of valuation. So here today with us, Engineer Vimal Shah. Please, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Engineer Kavita Choksi, for introducing our today's speaker with the audience. Now, without any further delay, it's time to hand over platform to Engineer Vimal Shah. Engineer Vimal Shah, on behalf of entire ICEA, I welcome you to deliver the talk. Please.
Thank you very much, Jigar Bhai. Thank you, Kavita. Thank you, ICEA. It's a good initiative to bring valuation topic in for ICEA, that is the Institute of Civil Engineers and Architects. In this platform, this is the first, I think, valuation topic we are discussing. Now, today's topic which I have taken, that is the valuation of leasehold properties. So basically, we have started with that basic topic. We have not gone into much depth because there are in ICEA many of our engineer fellows, those who are not practicing as a valuer, and there are so many practicing valuers also in our ICEA. So this is a topic which is a little different for the persons who are not practicing as a valuer. So normally what people pursue valuation, like those who are not into practicing field, they feel that valuation is just about getting sale instances, getting the rates of different properties and applying those same rates. So here we have taken a little different topic, that's the valuation of leasehold properties, wherein it is done based on what income your property is fetching. Based on that, the valuation will be given. So we'll be starting with the topic. I will be delivering lecture mostly in English and Hindi because many of the participants, they are also from other states, northern states of India. I think one of them is also from South India. So I'll be delivering in English and Hindi. So valuation of leasehold properties. So just to start with, in field, we classify the real estate properties into three types. We classify the real estate property into three types based on the marketability of the properties. Marketability means the ease of selling of the property, how easily it can be sold, how easily it can be converted into cash. So based on that, we classify the properties into three types. I'm putting everybody on mute because there is some background noise coming. Yeah. Jigar bhai, if you want to say something, you can unmute yourself and say.
Yes.
So based on the marketability, we can classify the real estate property into three types. If the property is marketable, but not income fetching. If the property is marketable and not income fetching, like your own occupied office, your own occupied flats, where you stay, wherein you are not getting any rent as an income, but you are using that property. So any such marketable properties, we do the valuation by market approach. But the properties which are marketable and from which you can generate the income, like if you have given some property on rent, say office on rent, a factory on rent, or any land on rent, from which you get rent as an income. For such properties, we use the income approach to valuation. And third type, the non-marketable properties. So non-marketable properties, we do it by cost approach. So I will just take a brief about all the three approaches and then we'll go to our main topic. That in market approach, what we do, in market approach, we just collect the sale instances. Means we compare our subject property, the property for which we need to do valuation for. We'll compare that property, our subject property, we'll choose a similar kind of property which has been sold in the market, and we'll take the sale instance of that sold property and we'll compare it with our property. Whatever the difference is there in the properties, we'll give according weightages according to that, and we'll apply those rate and weightages, and then we do the valuation. So that is the most common form of valuation, wherein we just find out the rates of the similar kind of properties and apply to our property after giving certain weightages. The cost approach, in the cost approach, we work out we do it by land and building method, wherein we work out the value of lands as per the prevailing market rate. And for the building part, we work out the cost of the building. Cost of the building, and then we give depreciation and get the net value of the building, net present value of the building. And we give valuation accordingly. But in case of in case of income approach, we'll consider the income that the property fetches, and based on that, we'll be doing the valuation. Now, before going ahead, let me just highlight that point. Like all the valuers know, but for not into the valuation field. So, what we do valuation for? So actually, what valuation we do, it is for the interest in the property. Actually, we don't do the valuation of the property, we do the valuation of interest in the property. So valuation, it is actually done for the interest of the property, or we can say bundle of rights in a property. So what do we understand by interest in the property? So interest in the property means what benefit you get out of the property. Interest in the property means what benefit you can get out of the property. So whatever valuation we are doing, we are not doing valuation for the property, but we are doing the valuation for the bundle of rights or the interest in the property. So income approach, in income approach, as I said, it will consider the income the asset will generate, whatever the income the asset will generate as in the form of rent, or in some kind of properties like say hotel buildings or hotel properties or petrol pumps, cinemas. It can be even income that you are fetching. So it will consider the income the asset will generate over the useful period, over the remaining useful life. And this income, we will capitalize it through a capitalization process. It's called a capitalization process, which applies a appropriate yield. Appropriate yield means appropriate percentage will apply to what investment, what return you can get from that investment. And based on that, we'll find out the value of the property. So we'll consider the basic income that it will generate over the useful life. For this, we'll use a formula, capitalized value. Capitalized value is net income into years purchase. This is the formula. Well, due to the time constraint, we won't be going how this formula has been derived. But yeah, what is CV? It is the capitalized value. NI is the net income the property will generate, and YP it's an year's purchase. So what is YP? What is year's purchase? So you can say year's purchase, it is a capitalized value required to be paid once and all in order to receive annual income of ₹1 for a specified period of time. Say I can suppose this is a timeline. So YP means a capitalized value which you need to invest today. A capitalized value which you need to invest today, say at R% rate of interest, which will give you ₹1 as an income every year. Which will give you ₹1 as an income every year. So that is year's purchase. Or in other form, I can say year's purchase is an year. In other form, I'll say, just a second. Yeah. In other form, I'll say year's purchase. Say it is a factor. Say this is a timeline. I have given a property, say on lease for say X number of years, and I will get net income as a rent every year. So this year's purchase is a factor which will convert this net income into the capitalized value. It will convert this net income into capitalized value. Or you can say you have to invest some capitalized value to get the net income at R% rate of interest, and YP will be the factor that will give you that value. So we'll consider this net income and find out the capitalized value of the property. Okay. So that is YP. Here we will use YP. We have got certain formulas. Basically, we are not going in this session how the formula is derived. But for a YP, the factor which converts the net income into the capitalized value, it is given by a formula 1 minus PV upon R. PV means the present value. Present value means present value of a future income. It is given by this factor 1 upon 1 plus R raised to N. So YP will be using this formula 1 minus 1 upon 1 plus R raised to the power N upon R. This is a factor which will let us convert the net annual income into the capitalized value. Okay. So when we use this formula, YP is equal to 1 minus 1 upon 1 plus R. R is the rate of capitalization. R is the rate of capitalization. What R we should consider? So there are many valuers take this R in a different way. Here I have given an example. Here I have taken a case study where in the Supreme Court they had given how the R can be taken. They have said that it is based on the if you are doing valuation for, say, if you are considering income for a land, then you can take 1.5% more than the government securities. How you can decide R? Because whenever in field you will get any such valuation assignment, then you have to decide how much rate of interest you have to consider. What should be the appropriate rate of interest that has to be considered. So you can consider 1.5% more if than the government securities if you are investing in a land. If you are investing in a building, you can take 2.5% more than the government securities. And if it is a leasehold properties, you can take additional 1% more. So this is how we'll be considering the rate of interest. So basically, whenever we consider the valuation for leasehold properties, as I said, we'll consider the income, and based on that income, we'll find out the capitalized value. Now here I have given a small example wherein it will show how we consider the interest of a person in the leasehold property. So the example is, say Mr. A has given, this is a real life example. Whenever we do the leasehold properties, the valuation, most of the leasehold properties have similar type of conditions. All the lease properties might be having the similar type of conditions. Here I am talking about the leasehold properties which are of a short term, say 10 years. So Mr. A has given his office having fair market value of 5 crore as on today. Suppose it is not on lease, and if it is freehold, then the fair market value is 5 crore. So Mr. A has given his office which has a fair market value of 5 crore, and he has given this office on lease to Mr. B for 10 years. It's a short-term lease. The net outgoings are 2 lakh rupees per annum, say property tax, maintenance and etc., which has to be borne by the lessor, the main owner. It has to be borne by the main owner, and it is 2 lakh rupees per annum. Mr. A had taken 40 lakhs as refundable deposit. Whenever we give any property on lease, obviously we take the security, some security deposit, which would be refundable at the end of the period and without any interest. So I have taken the same considerations over here. The lease rentals I have given, say the lease was done on 12/10/2019, and the first three period, the lease was of 32 lakhs per annum. The rent was 32 lakhs per annum. Then as all the lease deed says that there is the 15% increase every 3 years. So I have given here increment of from 32 to 37 for the next 3 years. And for the last 4 years, the rental is 42 lakh rupees per annum. So you will get such kind of example in your real life when you do the leasehold property. So till date, not till date I'll say, but most of the valuers before doing this MSc or IBBI examination, we used to do valuation of such kind of things, even this by the market approach. Means if we had done this property by market approach, obviously, as I said, the fair market value is 5 crore, we could have given the valuation as 5 crore rupees. But now, here in the leased properties, by income approach, we'll consider the income that this property will generate and we'll find the capitalized value. So, here we have to do the valuation for the main owner, say owner A, the freeholder. We have to do valuation for it. So as I said before, we are doing what valuation we are doing? We are doing the valuation for the interest in the property. Whatever valuation we do, it is for the interest in the property and not of the property. So what can be the interest of Mr. A in this property? So as Mr. A, he has given his property on lease to Mr. B, means he has parted with his rights of use to right to use and enjoy, and he has given it to Mr. B. So now Mr. A, he does not have the full rights in the property. So we have to understand that the Mr. A does not have the full rights in the property, and so we cannot give him valuation as on market basis, market approach, wherein we'll consider it is a freehold property. So here, what I will do, he has given the property on lease rent for 10 years. So up to 10 years, what Mr. A can get from the property? What benefits Mr. A can get from the property? So first of all, Mr. A, he can get rent up to 10 years. That is one benefit he can get out of the property. The lease rentals, 32 lakhs for the first 3 years, 37 lakhs for the next 3 years, and 42 lakhs for the last 4 years. So he can get that from the property. So we'll capitalize that with the capitalization process. Then what other benefit he can get out of the property? He has taken 40 lakh rupees as a security deposit, which he has to return at the end of the period, at the end of the lease period. So he can use that 40 lakh rupees till the end of the period. So whatever interest he can gain out of that 40 lakhs, he can get the benefit of that interest. Now, after 10 years, what after 10 years? Once the lease is over, the lessee, that Mr. B, he has to again hand over the property to Mr. A. Now, Mr. A, he will be the complete owner of the property again. He will have all the rights in the property again. So whatever the value of the property is there after 10 years, that benefit also Mr. A will get. So we will bring that value to the present value because we are doing valuation as on today, and that will also be his interest in the property. So this is how we will calculate the interest in the property. Interest in the property means what benefit he can get out of the property. So here I have listed the 3 interests. Say interest of Mr. A in the property are capitalized value of rental income. For the 10 years he is getting rent. So we'll capitalize that. That is his benefit. Reversionary value of the property means after 10 years he is getting back the property. So whatever the value, we'll bring it to present value. That is known as the reversionary value. That is his interest in the property. And interest gained on refundable security deposit. Whatever security deposit he has taken, he can use that for the entire lease period. And whatever the interest gain, that will be his interest in the property. Yeah, Mr. Ratnesh is asking in valuation on what rate. So Ratnesh, we have considered valuation as on today.
Vimal, I feel that I feel we have question answer session at the end of the talk. So
Yeah.
please, I request you to go through the talk first. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So we are doing valuation as on today. Okay. So how to do the capitalization of the rental income? So as I previously said, the capitalization of the rental income, it is done by a capitalization process, and which is with the formula CV is equal to NI into YP, wherein CV we take it as a net capitalized value of the income at the start date of the rental period. It would give the income on the start date. It is the capitalized value of the net income over the period. It will give it on the start date. NI, it is the net annual income, and YP, as we discussed, years purchase, you can say it is a factor, and it is given by the formula 1 minus 1 upon 1 plus R raised to the power n by R. So how will we choose the R? That I have already described over here. That R will take 2.5% more if as a fair returns on the investment of buildings. 2.5% return more than the average yield on government security. So here I have considered government securities at 6.5%. So I add 2.5%, so I'll get 9%. And 1% extra yield on investment in leasehold properties. So I add that 1% extra, and so I'm taking R as 10% for this particular example. So I'll just show how the valuation, how we can do valuation for such properties. So the first term was, say the first lease period was 12/10/19 to 11/10/22. That was the first 3 years period we are considering. So here I am doing valuation on, as on today, that is 18/8/2020. Now, as I said, what is interest? So interest is what benefit you can get out of the property, benefit as on today or in future. So we won't consider the past benefit. It would be benefit today and in future. So we won't consider from 12/10/22, but we'll consider from today, because past we will not consider. So today it is 18/8/2020, and the first period for us will be 18/8/20 to 11/10/22. That is the first period we'll have of 2.15 years. From 18/8/20 to 11/10/22, that is 2.15 years period. So for that period, I am getting a rent of 32 lakh rupees per annum. Now the outgoings are clubbed in together as 2 lakh rupees per annum. So what would be the net income for Mr. A? It would be 32 minus 2, that would be the net income. And we will capitalize it with the YP factor, which is given by 1 minus 1 upon 1 plus R raised to the power n by R, where n will be the lease period you are considering. So here we are considering 2.15 years. So I will capitalize it with the 2.1 n as 2.15 years, and I get 55 lakh rupees. So this is how we capitalize the value of rental period. So that is for the first period. This is for the first period, which is 12/10/19 to 11/10/22. We got it for the first period as 55 lakhs. Now, same way we'll calculate for the second period. Our second period that starts from 12/10/22 and it ends on 11/10/25. As I said, whenever I apply the formula CV, it will give me capitalized value on the start date of rental period. So it will give me value on 12/10/22. The CV value I will get on 12/10/22. Wherein the rent was 37 lakhs, 2 lakhs was outgoing. So the net income is 35 lakhs, and I capitalize that net income for 3 years because it is a period of 3 years, and I get value of 86 lakhs. Now this value I am getting on which date? 12/10/2022. but we are doing valuation as on today, 18/8/2020. So we have to bring this value to the present value. So to bring any value, future value to the present value, we have the present value formula. Present value is equal to 1/1 plus r raised to the power n. We can bring a future value to the present value by formula PV equal to 1/1 plus r raised to the power n. The r is our remunerative rate of interest. We can take r as same as the remunerative rate of interest, or maybe we can take 1 or 2% less. But normally we take it as the same remunerative rate of interest. So here I am bringing that 86.8 lakhs which I am getting on 12/10/22. I'll bring it to present value. So while bringing to present value, I'll apply this formula PV is equal to C into the present value factor 1/1 plus r raised to the power n. Now here n, it will be from 12/10/22 to present date. So it will be 2.15 years. So I'm considering this at 2.15 years. So this give me the rent capitalization of the second period. Same way, we'll do rent capitalization for the third period, which is from 12/10/25 to 11/10/29. It is for the period of 4 years. The duration is 4 years. And I'll get the value of CV and the start date of rental period, that is 12/10/25. And the rent was 42 lakhs. So net income is 40 lakhs. So 40 lakhs, I'll capitalize it for 4 years because the period is 4 years. And I get the value of 126 lakhs, that is on 12/10/25. Now, again, we have to bring this value to present date because we are doing valuation as on today. So I'll bring this 126 lakhs to the present value with the formula of PV, wherein n will be from 12/10/25 to present date. So the difference of time is 5.15 years, and I am bringing it to the present value. So this is how I will capitalize all the rental period all the rent received from all the 3 rental periods into the capitalized value, and I'll get a sum of all the capitalized value as the capitalized value of rental income. That is my first interest in the property. Out of the 3 interest in the property, capitalized value of rental income, I am getting my first interest. This is how leasehold property, we are considering the rent as the base, what income the property is fetching, and we are finding out the capitalized value. Now the second interest, reversionary value of the property. Now this is very, very debatable because in reversionary value of the property, the Mr. A, he gets the property back after the end of the lease period. Say here he is getting the property back on 11/10/2029 because the lease is up to 11/10/2029. Now how to assess the rate, how to assess the value of the property on 11/10/29? As a valuer, we cannot forecast the value of the property, am I right? So this is the most debatable thing, that what value we should take on 11/10/2029. So most of the valuers practicing in the field, even me, what we do, I take the same value as on today, fair market value as on today at the end of the lease period also, considering that the property value may appreciate or it depreciates also, because it is a building, it can depreciate also. Also due to many kind of obsolescences, the property value can depreciate. Like we all are staying in Surat, we all know about ISKCON Mall. Most of us are from Surat, we know about ISKCON Mall. So ISKCON Mall, what happened with ISKCON Mall? Before 10 years, we had very good rates. But if you see at present today, the rate has not increased at all. On the contrary, it has decreased also. So we cannot say what can be the rates after 10 years. So normally in normal course, what we consider, whatever the rate value of the property is on today, the same value will be at the end of the lease period. Or if you want to go into very much detail, then you have to do trend study of the property. So here in this example, what I have considered, that after the study of long time trend, I have studied long time trend of the property market in the particular area. And from that, from the long-term trend, I got the value that the property value will increase 10% after 10 years, even after deducting depreciation. So if you want to go with exact thing, you have to see the long-term trend. And you have to assume the value of the property after 10 years or at the end of the lease period. So here I have given the fair market value of the property as on today was 5 crore. But the property Mr. A will get back is after 9.17 years, means on 11/10/2019 he is going to get back the property. Till that time it is on lease. The lease will end on 11/10/29, and at that time he will get back the property. So what would be the rate over there if it is increasing 10% in 10 years? So in 9.15 years, it will increase by 9.15%. So I've assumed that the value on the value of the property on 11/10/29 will be 9.15% more than today, and hence it will be 545 lakhs on that day. But valuation, we are doing it as on today, so we have to bring this value to the present value. So we have to defer that value to the present value by present value formula. So again, applying to the present value formula, I am getting the present value of that property. This is called as the reversionary value of the property. So that is my second interest. Now, again, as I said, he has taken 40 lakh rupees as a security deposit, which he has to return after the end of the period. So he can use that 40 lakh rupees till 11/10/2029. So for this example, I have assumed that Mr. A, he has kept that amount of 40 lakh in fixed deposit at a compounded interest, which is compounded annually at a rate of 7%. Now again here I like to mention that the benefit, interest means benefit today or in future. So we will not consider the period from 12/10/2019, because 9 महीना, this 9 months, उसमें जो भी interest उसको मिला है, that he has used up. We cannot consider that benefit. We can consider the benefit today and in future. So I am considering that he has kept that 40 lakh rupees today in FD. So from today up to 11/10/2029, he will keep it on FD for 9.15 years, and hence will capitalize it, we will calculate it with the compound interest formula. The compound interest formula is given by 1 plus R raised to the power n. So this 40 lakh rupees, I am calculating it by compound interest formula, and it will accumulate to 74 lakhs at the end of the period. So it will accumulate to 74 lakhs at the end of the period, that is in 2029. Now from this 74 lakhs, he has to return 40 lakhs to Mr. B. So hence after reverting 40 lakhs, he will have 34 lakhs in his hand at the end of the period in 11/10/29, and then this 30 lakh rupees, this 34.28 lakh rupees will bring to the present value by the present value formula, and we get the say interest gained on refundable deposit, the capitalized value as on today. And then adding all these three values, all the three interests, say capitalized value of rental income and the reversionary value and interest gained on refundable deposit, we can arrive at the final value that can be given for interest of Mr. A in the property. So here I can give the valuation of 446 lakhs or say 447 lakhs as a valuation for Mr. A in the property. Though the property, if I do it by market approach, it was of 5 crore rupees. But I am not considering the sale instances in that area. I am not considering the present rates of the properties in that area, but I am considering the rent capitalization and finding out the value of the property. So this is how we calculate the interest of a person in a leasehold properties based on the rent capitalization method. So we'll capitalize whatever the rent is fetched and also the reversionary value if it is a short-term lease period. So I think a few of them had some questions.
Thank you, Vimal bhai.
Yeah, we can have one more example also, but if anyone has some questions regarding this example, we
Okay.
can.
So there are two questions, Vimal bhai.
Yeah.
One is about interest of A will keep changing with the time. What will be means balance lease period? That was what you are attending. You were attending the question while presentation. Interest of
Obviously.
A as on date.
Okay, first question was from Ratnesh. Interest of A as on what date? So it is interest of A as on 18 August 2020 we have calculated.
And second question was about what value we can give to bank currently present at this property.
See, actually what I said that we don't give the value of the property, but we'll give the interest of the person in the property. So for interest of A, we can give, okay, we can give 447 lakhs as an interest of A in the property. See, very simple example. If I have a land, which might be worth say 1 crore rupees, but I have given that land on perpetual lease to Nilesh sir at a lease rent of say only 2 lakh rupees per year. Say at a lease rent of only 2 lakh rupees per year. And suppose if anyone wants to buy that property, will he pay me 1 crore rupees if he is going to get only 2 lakh rupees per year out of that property? Obviously not, because he will say what returns I am getting only 2 lakh rupees per year. How can I pay 1 crore rupees for that? So we cannot calculate the value of the property. We have to calculate the value of the interest in the property. And the interest in the property is 447 lakhs for Mr. A. So we can give valuation of 447 lakhs for Mr. A in the property. That was what Mr. Harshal was asking.
Yes, fine, I think so.
Is it clear, Mr. Harshal Goriwala?
Yes, it is clear. Answer is okay. Fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, one more. Ratnesh was saying interest of A will keep changing with the time. Balance lease period. Yeah, obviously it will change. It will depend on the unexpired period of lease. If the unexpired period of lease is very less, the lesser interest of lesser will be more.
I think question has been answered, Vimal bhai. So I think we can continue with other problems, other example.
Yeah, we can take one complex example wherein we can have the interest of the lessor as well as we can have the interest of the lessee in the property. So it's the same property, but if you are doing valuation for lessor, it will be different. If you are doing valuation for lessee, it will be different. So a land was leased for construction of cinema in 1993 for 30 years and lease rent was fixed at ₹4 lakh per year. Lessee constructed the cinema and started running the business himself. Net income from the cinema during 2019-20 is ₹25 lakhs. Calculate the value of lessor's interest and lessee's interest in the property as on 2020. The lease deed provides that the cinema with machinery would vest with the lessor free of cost on the maturity of the lease. That is, the lease will mature in 2023 and you have to do valuation as on today. The rate of capitalization for net income, we have already mentioned over here that the rate of capitalization you can consider 12%. For recoupment of capital, I'll tell what is recoupment of capital. So recoupment of capital, it is 3%. And for lease rent, it is 8%. Life of the building can be considered as 60 years and rate of deferment is 8%. So this is the case wherein a lessor, he has given a land on lease for a limited period of time. That is only for 30 years. and the lessee has constructed the cinema. And once the lease expires, the lessee has to give the building and machinery free of cost to the lessor. The lease will expire in 2023. So what would be the interest of lessee in the cinema and what would be the interest of lessor in the cinema? So first we'll calculate the interest of lessee in the cinema. Okay, just a minute. I will okay, disable participants annotation because somebody is drawing some line over here. Okay. So what is the interest of lessee in the cinema? So as I said earlier, what do we understand by interest? What do we understand by interest? Interest means what benefit he can get out of the cinema. Now, what benefit can lessee get out of this cinema? He has got the property on lease up to what period? 2023. Lessee has got the cinema on lease up to 2023. So what benefit he can get out of the cinema? He can run the cinema for next 3 years from today and he can earn profit out of that cinema. That is the only benefit he can get out of the cinema. Right? So when we do the valuation from lessee, we have to consider only that 3 years income as his benefit in the property. So lessee's interest, it is to run the cinema and earn for remaining 3 years. Now, since lessee, he had constructed the cinema, he had invested in the cinema. He had taken only land on lease and he had invested in the cinema, he had constructed the cinema. And his property, he has to give it to the lessor free of cost on the expiration of the lease. So in such cases, we'll consider the recoupment of the property. Means whatever recoupment of his capital, whatever he has invested in the cinema, he will consider that he wants the recoupment of the capital as well during the expiry of the lease. So whenever the recoupment is to be considered, we have YP formula as 1 upon R plus S. Here we are not going through how these formulas are derived because it will take at least 2 to 3 hours for derivation of all the formulas. So here we are not going through how the formulas are derived. So whenever a recoupment is required, when lessee or lessor, whenever their property, say lessee he has invested in the property and it is going to go away to the lessor. So he wants the recoupment of the capital as well. So here we'll consider YP as 1 upon R plus S. That is the formula for YP. And net income for him, here he has not given it on rent. Lessee, he has not given the property on rent, but he is using it himself and he is running the cinema. And it is given that he got a profit of rupees 25 lakhs, net profit of 25 lakh for 1920, year 1920. So that is his net income from the property. It is the net income. So we will capitalize that net income for 3 years. With the capitalization process, CV is equal to NI into YP, where YP is the years purchase, and for recoupment of capital, we are using 1 upon R plus S, where S is the sinking fund and its formula is given by R upon 1 plus R is to the power N minus 1. The value for recoupment, the rate of interest R we always take between 3 to 4. It is the minimum value that has to be taken. The rate of interest which we can get even in the worst economic disaster condition. So here we are already given value of recoupment as 3%. So I have taken that 3%. And for 3 years, we are finding the value of YP as 1 upon R plus S. Now net value, the rate of capitalization value for income, it is given as 12%. Rate of capitalization of income, it is given as 12%. So 1 upon 0.12 plus this S 0.323, we are getting YP value. And we'll just capitalize this 3 years income for lessee, because after 3 years, he has no rights in the property. And capitalizing this value, we are getting 56 lakhs. That is the value, interest of lessee in the property. Now, what can be the interest of lesser in the property? What can be interest of lesser in the property? See, lesser has given it on lease at 4 lakh rupees per annum. And the lease period is for 30 years, that is up to 2023. In 2023, the lease will end. So lesser, he will get rent up to 2023 for 3 years. What after 2023? So after 2023, there is a clause. The lease deed provides that the cinema machinery would vest with the lesser free of cost on maturity of lease. So in 2023, the main lesser, he will get the entire cinema. So up to 2023, he will get rent, and after 2023, he gets the entire cinema. So now he can run the cinema and earn the profit, because he is getting building, machinery, everything free of cost. So he can run the profit. So for lesser, we can have interest twofold. That is, for the first 3 years, he can get rent, and if after 2023, he can get profit out of the cinema. So lesser's interest, right to lease rent income for 3 years, and right to cinema income after 3 years due to reversion clause, because after 3 years, he is getting back the cinema. So we'll capitalize this lease income for 3 years. It was 4 lakh rupees rent. So we'll capitalize that 4 lakh rupees rent, and we get the value for the 3 years. That we'll get the value as on today. But after 3 years, he is getting back the cinema. Total cinema he'll be getting. So here we have given life of the building as 60 years. So lessee constructed the building in 1993. So building will last up to 2053. So what lesser can do? He can run the cinema from 2023 to 2053. That is for 30 years he can run the cinema. Now after 30 years, his building property will be over. So he would like that he would recoup some capital, so that after 30 years he can get some value of the building again. So here again we are using the YP dual rate formula, because he wants the recoupment of his capital. And we will capitalize the net income for the 30 years. Now for lesser, the net income won't be 25 lakhs, it would be 29 lakhs, because after 3 years he is getting back the cinema. The cinema is getting 25 lakh rupees as the net income. Now he does not have to pay the rent of 4 lakh rupees to anyone, because it is now his own property. So that 4 lakh rupees will be added. So we'll capitalize 29 lakh for the remaining 30 years period, by the formula CV is equal to NI into YP. And here we'll get the value of capitalized value of that net income in 2023, because he is getting the cinema in 2023. So we have brought that value in 2023, and that will bring it to present value by the present value formula, and we can give the capitalization value as on today. So that would be the value due to the reversional clause. And then we can add this right to lease rent income and the right to cinema income, and we can give the valuation of 1 crore 73 lakhs for the lesser. So it is the same property, but if you give the valuation for lesser, it is coming to 1 crore 73 lakhs. And if you give the value for the lessee, it is coming only 56 lakhs. So this is how we calculate the interest in the property. So interest in the property means what benefit he can get out of the property. Okay, so there are some questions. Why 3? 3 for Ratnesh. It was leased from 1993 to 2023, and we are doing valuation as on 2020. So the remaining period is only 3 years. Lesser's interest only, yes, Ratnesh, because 19 we don't consider the past interest. Interest means what benefit you can get in present and in future. So at present it is 2020, he can get only rent income for 3 years. In lesser's interest. Okay, lesser's interest, we have capitalized the land income for 3 years, and then due to reversionary clause, after 2023, he is getting back the property, and we have calculated that.
One of the question is, Vimal bhai, land cost will not reflect. That is one question. Land cost.
It will not reflect because here we are considering the net income from the property. Now that net income will be due to land, building, machineries, everything.
And one more question from Ratnesh bhai. If lessee spend 2 crore on construction, what is the amount of recouped?
See, when lessee has spent 2 crore rupees on construction, that he had spent it in say 1993. So he should have started recoupment from that day itself. So these 3 years will be recouping only for this 3 years period, not for the entire period. So obviously not, we cannot recoup 2 crore. He has to start the recoupment from the 1993 itself.
I think there is no more question. Any question from audience?
Yeah, I think there are many valuers like Nimish is there. Nimish, you can throw your light.
What about if there is some subleasing?
If there is some subleasing, then the lessee's interest will be calculated. Say maybe the lessee might have given to subleasee at some rent. So we'll capitalize the profit rent that is received by the lessee. Say here the lessee.
And what will be the interest of subleasing in the property?
Then sublessee, he will be running the cinema and he will be getting the profit. So we'll capitalize that profit. For the sublessee, if he has lessee has given it to the sublessee, then sublessee will be running the cinema.
So what will be the interest of leasee, not the lesser?
Okay. So
in the case of subleasee, in the case of
sublessee, see, lessee has taken on 4 lakh rupees rent, right?
No, lessee has not taken. Lesser has. Original lesser has taken.
Original lesser has taken 4 lakh rupees rent from lessee. Now lessee is taking say 10 lakh rupees rent from lesser.
Hypothetically, okay, fine.
So that is the difference is 10 lakh and 4 lakh. So 6 lakh rupees per year.
Ismail.
Lessee is earning 6 lakh rupees per year. That is his net income. In any case, we will capitalize the net income. Whether it is lesser, lessee or sublessee.
Well, I think some background noise is coming. We'll request other participants to please mute their microphone.
I'll mute everyone.
Yes, sir.
Whoever wants to ask question, they can unmute himself and then ask. Yeah, Nimish, is it clear?
It is better that they put the question in chat box.
As you asked to raise a question, so I raised a question.
Yeah, I know.
Because you have not touched the subleasee in the entire lecture.
Yeah, actually, it was only 1 hour session, so I think it was not possible to consider each and every aspects of leasehold properties.
Okay, I have one more question about the things. Land is owned by A.
Okay.
Building is prepared by A.
Okay.
They give that particular property to a trust.
Okay.
Trust is running a school. Now, if that landowner wants some secure lending from any financial institution, then what will be the consideration for him?
Okay, he wants any finance from any bank, say.
Okay, bank, financial institution.
Yeah. So what will be the? Can you please repeat the question?
The land is owned by A.
Yeah, that is fine.
Construction
That
is
he has built the building and he has given it to trust.
to the trust. Now
And at what rent? At what rent?
yes, that is what I am elaborating. Now, as it is a trust, he has not mentioned any specific lease or remuneration or the rent that it should be.
Okay.
But still, he is the owner of that particular land as well as that particular building also.
Right. So, okay, in this case, what happens is basically, see, whenever any such property is there, we can give whatever, how we can give his interest in the property, what benefit he can get out of the property. So if he is not taking any rent from trust, then we cannot give any value to him.
Okay, fine.
And secondly, suppose if there is no agreement principle, then the case is totally different. Then that is tenancy at will, which can be say cancelled anytime if there is no written agreement.
Yes,
So in that case, you can give it by land and building method, because here it is tenancy at will, which can be cancelled anytime.
So the bottom line is that what is the lease condition, that is more important rather than only the capitalizing the rent or
Main thing is the value will depend on the lease terms and conditions. That are the most important thing.
Okay, one more question, Vimal bhai, from Ratnesh bhai. Can we calculate the recoupment for period 1993 to 2023, and see if lessee gets his entire amount spent on the construction?
It's not about he can get the entire amount spent on the construction, because he has to do recoupment only from whatever he is getting on the getting rent from. Say he is getting say here he is getting 25 lakh rupees as the net income. So from this 25 lakh, he has to put certain amount aside for the recoupment. So it's not that he can always get the entire amount of recoupment, but it's that he get some portion out of the income he will keep aside, so that he will get some capital value at the end of the period. It's not that entire amount can be recouped.
I think Ratnesh bhai question has been answered.
Okay, what is the portion and amount? So we are considering this, here what we are doing is we are considering only the net income, and that net income, from that we are considering that he is keeping it at 3% interest. He cannot consider the entire recoupment amount. See, as such, whatever he has invested in 1993, as such, if you calculate in 2023, that amount will be quite different.
So what if lessee ends in a loss in his case in totality?
See, if lessee ends in loss, then obviously there will be no recoupment also, and there will be no value for the lessee. Then it can be only value for the lessor. We cannot give any value to the lessee.
One more question from Harshal.
What to do in such case? Obviously, if there is loss to the lessee, so we can give no valuation for lessee. We can mention that it's a loss, so there will be no value, no interest of lessee in the property, and in fact it is negative. So no one can fund a lessee for the property, obviously, but yeah, they can fund lessor for the property. What about the remaining 27 years of recoupment? Remaining 27, that is past. He should have recouped in that period.
There's one more question from Harshal. If property market value is less but the income is more?
See, in this case, in lessee's case, however, if the income is more, you have to consider that more income only. Because he is getting that, See this, whenever we are considering the profit for calculation, that profit is due to tangible and intangible assets put. It is due to the property and goodwill and everything that is apportioned in that. So it is due to the tangible and intangible portion also. So even if the property value is less, maybe due to that intangible part, his goodwill and all, he is earning more. So we have to consider that only. So we'll give more value if the even though if the property value is less. Is it clear, Harshalji?
I have one question.
Yeah.
There is a very typical case of a land leased by a trust to a group of people.
Okay.
The lease period has ended 20 years back. There is a provision in the previous lease deed that the same lease would be renewed for another period with mutual agreement. But somehow that has not been renewed till date.
Okay.
In that case, what will be the interest of the lessor and the lessee?
In that case, we have to see whether the lessee is paying the rent regularly or not. And if he is paying the rent regularly, and if the lessor is accepting the rent, that implies that there is an implied contract between them at the same conditions that were prevalent at the end of the lease. And you have to accept the same conditions now. Because he is accepting the rent, that means it is an implied contract that he has accepted and he has renewed the lease.
But the problem is that the lessor is not accepting the rent. Even though
if he is not accepting the rent, then obviously then he has to sue the lessee in the court of law.
That also he has not done.
And now then this property is into litigation. So first of all, for lessee there is no value because there is no lease agreement to it. And for lessor, we can give it by market value. But since it is into litigation, we can give the value, say 30% or 40% or 50% less based on how strong the case is.
Okay.
Adding to this particular question of Kamal bhai, lessor is not taking a rent, but lessee is there for more than 20 years without paying rent. Then what?
First of all, as I said, the lessor
There is no litigation. There is no litigation. There is no litigation. Then after also.
Okay, if he has not sued him in the court of law, maybe then it can be treated as he has accepted the lease agreement. Because then if he is not, he does not want the lessee to be there, he has to sue him in the court of law.
That also is not done till date.
Then if he has not done, that means it is accepted that he has the lessee as the tenant holder. Otherwise,
so
it is compulsory for him to sue him in the court of law.
So in that case, what will be the valuation for lessee?
In that case, yeah, you can give valuation considering that he is having the for what is the end. Say we will consider him that he is the lessee. The same terms and conditions which were prevailing before at the same lease rent. We can find out what can be the rec rent of the property as on today, and that difference will consider as profit rent for the lessee, and we can capitalize that.
Okay, good.
There is one more question from Harshal Doriwala. Considering valuation to be given to the bank, only income approach can be taken for how many years of future rent years?
So it's not about how many years for the future rent years. If it is perpetual lease, you can take it in perpetuity. It depends on the unexpired period of lease. You have to consider the entire unexpired period of lease.
And is there any condition of number of rented years agreement for taking income approach?
As such, no condition, but if it is only 1 year, it will give more or less equal to the market value for the lessor. Because the reversionary value will be more or less equal to the today's value.
For how many years short-term lease can be? 1-2 years. Short-term lease for 1-2 years.
We will consider any lease up to 50 years as short-term lease. Any lease above 50 years, we can consider long-term lease or perpetual lease. After 60 years, we consider perpetual lease. Even 40 years lease we'll consider as short-term lease.
I think he got the answer, sir. Vimal bhai, he got the answer.
Yeah.
I think there is no more question. I think all questions have been answered. So let me thank you, Vimal bhai. Thank you, Engineer Vimal Shah, for sharing your profound knowledge with us today. I am sure that our worthy members have been benefited from your talk. I think so many questions also answered and satisfactorily answered. Now, I would like to invite our Dilip Bhai, our own Dilip Bhai, Engineer Dilip Bhai Patel, for secretarial announcement.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed these sessions. Similarly, we are bringing some more like this on 20th August, a webinar on real-time street level flood water level monitoring system, and speaker will be Dr. S.M. Yadav, Professor SVNIT. And on 28th August, there will be one more webinar on frontier technologies like VR, AR, and artificial intelligence, basic concepts and applications. And speaker will be Hardik Desai. So I will request all of you, please do join and enjoy the seminar. Over to you, Jigar bhai.
Thank you very much, Dilip bhai, for the information. Now it's time to express thankfulness. I would like to invite, I think Pinak bhai is there.
Yes, I am here.
Yes, Pinak bhai. It's time to express thankfulness. I would like to invite Engineer Pinak bhai Desai to deliver the vote of thanks.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Good evening to all of you. Today, we had a seminar of a real estate leasing valuation. That is a wonderful expressed by Engineer Vimal Shah. Thank you, Vimal bhai, for being a present over here and spend your valuable time to share your knowledge. We also recognize the active participation of Dr. Jigar Sewalia. Jigar bhai, thank you very much. And Engineer Niral Shah, both has executed this today's event and program. They have conceptually designed today's program. Thank you, Jigar bhai, Dr. Jigar Sewalia and Niral Shah. We special thanks to some associations, India, IOV Surat chapter. I think Murad bhai is there, president of IOV. Murad bhai, thank you very much. SVNIT Surat chapter president Akshay bhai Pachigar, and Institute of Civil Engineers Surat president Janak bhai Trivedi, who joined with us and make this event very successful. Thank you, all of you guys. We also thank to all the past president who has attended today's webinar. Immediate past president Mr. Nimish bhai Mehta, our senior most past president Ekti Shah sir, Jabir bhai Choksi, Kamal bhai Gandhi, Mukesh bhai Variawa. Most ofly મને જે ધ્યાન છે તે પ્રમાણે કહું છું. થેન્ક યુ. અને આ સિવાય બીજા બી કોઈક પાસ્ટ પ્રેસિડેન્ટો જે હાજર રહ્યા હોય એ બધાનો આભાર સાહેબ. Last but not the least, you all ladies and gentlemen who has attended to this seminar and spend your valuable time and show your interest in this topic. Also thanks to all the managing committee members and office bearer who are directly or indirectly involved in this today's webinar. Thank you everyone. Once again, thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Pinak bhai. Yes.
I will just take 1 minute to update on the recent development regarding forthcoming programs, because others may not have that information. But I just received a message that ICEA and SVNIT Alumni Association has also organized a webinar, a very interesting one, on leadership qualities. The title is Leadership Mahendra Dhoni Style. I mean, Leadership Mahi Style. That is scheduled on 22nd, this Saturday at 6 p.m. You will receive that information on WhatsApp groups appropriately by today evening or today late evening or by tomorrow. So please also block your dates and reserve your times accordingly. Over to you, Jigar bhai.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pinak Bhai, for the humble gratitude. I thank you all again for joining us today. We hope to see you next time as announced by our Dilip Bhai Patel. Okay. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good
Night.
night.
Night.